Hello everyone, I'm Phil.
No.
Okay, wait, how do you want to start?
That's not how you start
How do
it.
we start it? Hello everyone, welcome to this. God,
yeah.
it's been so long since we've done it. We need to do it more regularly. Okay, let's try again. Okay, you're going to include that now. I know what you're like. Hi everyone and welcome to the Fiction Foundry podcast. I'm Phil.
And I'm Ben.
We're up to episode 17 now.
17.
Yeah, we didn't have any housekeeping last time, so we do have a little bit this time.
Did we not?
I don't think so.
It's been a while since we recorded the last one, in fairness.
I know,
so,
we're getting a bit sloppy, aren't we?
Yes, a little bit. But then we've been busy with things.
Yeah, been busy. I've been on holiday.
Oh, yeah, I've been busy with things.
Yeah, you've been busy with things. I've been busy with the beach. And yes, everybody, I am still as white as ever.
Yeah, what is with that?
I don't know. Maybe we can do some colour grading or something afterwards.
Just grade your side, yeah.
Okay then, so housekeeping. I'll go first. Friend of mine, Rob Brown, we've mentioned him a few times actually with his movie 16. We talked a lot about his sort of post-production campaign. More on that later. In another episode, we're going to talk about that. But yeah, 16 is almost finished, but has got into the London BFI Film Festival.
Excellent.
And not only that, it's been nominated for Best First Film and Best First Time Director for Rob. So
that's pretty impressive.
Congratulations
actually.
to Rob. Yeah,
well
absolutely.
Done. Nice going.
Yeah, for a film shot on a very low budget on an extraordinarily tight schedule. Yeah, so I can't wait to see it. So everyone should check out Facebook 16 and Rob Brown, and you'll be able to see some behind the scenes footage on there and support the project and follow it as it starts to make its way around the festival circuit. And hopefully distribution and things will follow.
Excellent.
But yeah, looking like a really good example of everyone of how to run a low budget feature campaign really. So
well, good.
So yeah,
we'll have to keep everybody posted as to how that's going then.
Yeah. So have you got any housekeeping?
Only really that again we sort of bring the Oxyculture up. It's kind of the sister company to Fiction Foundry, if you don't already know. But we supply aerial footage to the TV and film industry. But the other night we had our first prime time airing on BBC One. For an episode of New Tricks.
I know, and we've just watched it now, haven't we?
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Looking very good.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I'm very happy with the results. Actually,
adds a kind of a more of an epic dimension to the show, doesn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
To open with those shots.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we sort of it's a character in the. It's actually the start of a two-parter. And it's the introduction of a character that's going to sort of play a pivotal role throughout those two episodes, and our shots basically introduce him to the program.
And I think that people don't really realise that some of this technology is just so much cheaper than what has been available only a few years ago, and it is changing the way people do business, isn't it? For
Absolutely.
Mainstream film and television.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before. Really, in the environment that we shot, which was quite a heavily wooded area, there was no way of doing a shot like that because a helicopter wouldn't be able to fly that low and a crane wouldn't be able to get that high. And you certainly wouldn't have. There would be nothing to be able to transition between the two. So we definitely fill a gap for the market there with that. Okay,
and any more Octo things coming up?
Yeah, we've got a shoot for a sporting company.
Are you allowed to say the name of the sporting company?
It rhymes with Pike or Pikey, whichever way.
Pikey.
whichever way you pronounce it.
Right.
But yeah, we're working with a couple of quite well-known athletes.
Are you allowed to say who they are?
No, but one of them.
Give us a hint.
One of them rhymes with Payne Broomy. And the other one rhymes with Laurie Packleboy.
I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, put me on the spot there. Yeah.
So nobody that rhymes with Messica Penis?
No.
Oh, that's a shame. I would have come on the sheet.
Afraid not, yeah. So would I.
This isn't that kind of podcast, Ben.
What do you mean? Anyway, moving on.
Right, so today on the episode we're back to the buzzer because, as everyone knows, we always talk too much. So
Yes.
we're going to get to it quite quickly. 3 topics. The first of which is going to be about business because I've just been to a seminar last week about raising finance for small companies like us, and raising. It also helps with, as a byproduct, raising finance for feature film and television production. And hopefully a lot of you out there who are listening are filmmakers and producers yourselves. So hopefully a little bit will be relevant to you. So do you want to start the clock then?
Yes, 10 minutes, starting
Wait. Okay.
now.
Okay, the reason I think I wanted to talk about this was because when you talk about business plans and where to go to get finance, sometimes you have to, as a filmmaker, you have to think slightly differently. So it's often really good idea to apply the fundamentals as if you were setting up an ordinary business to setting up a film as an investable product. So when you're setting up either a film as a business, because normally you would set up a film probably as a limited company on its own, separate from your main company, you've got to think about where you can get finance from. So what different types of finance are out there?
Oh God, how long's a piece of string? And actually, even large organisations such as Warner Brothers or Universal Pictures, the way they finance a film, no 2 films will ever be the same. Obviously, at our sort of level, private financing goes a long way. Angel investors, if you want to take a risk, potentially might get your film made, but you might not really see many fiscal rewards.
This is one of the interesting things that when you talk about angel investors, because you have business angels.
Yes.
And business angels do invest in films, quite rare, but they do. And then you have venture capitalists. And it's interesting what the difference between the two is. Do you know the difference between the two?
Well, not necessarily.
They are kind of the same thing, which are essentially independent investors, private investors usually, putting money into the project. But the idea of the business angel is more like the type you see on Dragon's Den. They're more likely to get involved in the business, whereas a venture capitalist is literally just about, they will want everything they can get from that project, and
with a minimal amount of work involved.
Exactly.
In getting it,
and you will have to pay usually a premium rate of interest, and you will have to deliver the projections that you promise. Otherwise, they will take.
I mean, it sounds like, well, why would I do that then? But having said that, if you've got a reasonable script and you've got a crew put together and you're ready to go, you just need the money, and you're thinking, well, actually, I could use this project as a vehicle then to go onto a bigger and better thing afterwards. Well, maybe you can sort of take a hit on your own return on the film if there is any distribution.
You can, but I think a lot of people advise against some of these deals because, especially with things like venture capitalists, is because it's almost like it's almost like making the movie on your credit card.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you could end up owing money even outside, because the reason you create a different limited protected company for your movie is because you don't want to have to give up your house if the movie fails. But the problem with, I think, venture capitalist is that that still might be there. It's like taking out a loan.
That's why you need, and again we keep sort of promising an episode on this. You need the film lawyers.
You need the lawyers first to set it up for you. And I think when you go and see professional film lawyers, I think they would be wary of venture capitalists as well. I think they prefer private equity to be done on a return basis and everyone to know exactly what they're going to get and everybody get the same deal. But
I mean, something that we would do at our level really is sort of try and tap up some high net worth individuals and go down that route, or even companies that are looking for some sort of a tax write off They've got extra money that it's either going to go in tax or they can put it into a film and get tax relief on money that they've put into a film. Again, the HMRC actually have got a whole website devoted just to UK tax benefits for making films.
We'll
put a link up on that. You have to, I think it's 25% as long as you can show that 20% of your film is the finance of your film. 20% of that is actually being spent in the UK on UK stuff, up to £20 million for the overall budget. If your budget is over 20 million, then you get 20% tax relief.
But of course, you can look at foreign investment as well. And,
absolutely.
And quite often it involves, as we've talked about before, filming abroord. And looking at their tax credits.
Exactly. I
well.
mean, South Africa is one that springs to mind. Good tax benefits. There'll be websites out there devoted to these. We'll try and grab a couple and put them on our website, so you've got an easy resource to get to.
Definitely, but there are still things like you could, in theory, get bank loans. It has been known, obviously, in the current climate. Since the Depression, it has been very difficult to do that. But then you can also get public money. There are still grants available through things like the BFI,
National Lottery,
and National Lottery. Well, that's usually where the money's funded to, and Creative England. But in the UK anyway. But one of the others I still want, urge everyone to check out is UK Media Desk. If you're already established, if you've already made a film and had it distributed, if you've already made a TV show or a web series or an animation, had it distributed, sold in some way, then UK Media Desk is all about promoting companies working with companies abroad, particularly sort of France, Spain, and doing partnership deals. And if you've produced something before and you can prove you've produced and sold something before, you can apply in that particular category. Let's say you've done a TV series before, and you can get up to 50% funding as long as you can do a partnership deal.
That's a lot.
With something abroad. It's a lot.
Is there a budget constraint on that?
Yes, there are. There are different categories. So there are obviously some that are sub 100,000, some that are over 100,000, and then it goes all the way up to 1 million or more. There are lots of different categories, and the different categories also are for the type of media it is.
Right.
But UK Media Desk is definitely one. But for those of you in the UK, the best way, there is a great search engine on the .gov website. So, for example, I'm from Birmingham, so I'd put www.birmingham.gov.uk and then /support for business. Now, that's general search engine for businesses and grants that are available. But if you say, but in that engine, it does have creative companies. So you can do searches for creative companies, and you'll come up with all sorts of grants that you didn't know about. For example, in Birmingham, there's one which is something I think it's called the Green Belt. Not Green Belt. I've got it written down here somewhere. The Green Bridge Fund, and you can. It's just passed for this year. You'd have to apply next year. But for that one, all you have to do with your company is prove that even a piece of equipment you're buying for your film or your company is green energy, and you can get that funding. They're desperate for people to apply for it because not many people know about it.
And that funding is just specifically for that piece of equipment, is it?
Yeah, right. Basically it's obviously, because it's called the Green Bridge, it's a bit deceptive because it is obviously trying to promote sort of green energy solutions and things like that, but it's also just to help support new businesses.
Right.
Now, let's say you could be a creative business and you could want to you might just buy a piece of equipment that would save energy emissions for the shoot, or rent equipment. That would be a perfectly valid application that you could make to that one. So the Advantage Creative Fund was one of the other big ones, certainly in the Midlands anyway, in the UK, but I think a lot of those funds now have gone because of the crash.
Right. And
so the other creative grants you're going to find, particularly for film in the UK, really are going to be funneled through the BFI and Creative England. So sometimes you have to think differently. And then we've talked before about social media grants and things like that. There are small pockets if you do a search. And the best way to do that is to get on the .gov site and do a search. It's quite a comprehensive search engine. You have to go through a few pages of selecting the right criteria, and then it will bring up a selection of different funds that may or may not be relevant to what you want to do. So basically what I'm saying is, as a new startup media company, or as setting yourself up as a film, you have to be creative in how you look for your finance. But we've only got a minute left already.
Sorry, just to add to that, I was just going to say that there still is no substitute, though, for knowing exactly what the end game of your film is going to be, because then you can target your research to the type of investment that's going to work for your long-term plan. Exactly right, and that's exactly what I was going to talk about in the last 30 seconds. Because what was really interesting when I went to this thing, we were talking about business planning. Faster.
Was, was the elements to a business plan are very similar to the kind of business plan that you put together when you're approaching a sales agent. We obviously talked before about sales agents and distributors. And here on elements of business plan, you've got mission statements, background, summary of who you are, the product description, marketing plan, competitor analysis, where you'd be comparing it to other films of a similar ilk. And I knew that was going to happen. But I've started, so I'll finish, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the mastermind.
Are we still doing the 2 minute extension?
Yeah, can we do the 2 minute extension roll?
Go on then. Ready? Go!
Okay, and things like operations, equipment, and financial planning, how much it's going to make. And this is the exact same thing you do when you approach a sales agent. You have a document, and we've seen them ourselves, if you remember, when we've spoken to other sort of more established filmmakers who are doing much bigger films. They always have a document that is, clearly defined, summarizing the film, clearly doing biographies of who's involved, clearly looking at the demographics and the target audience, clearly looking at how much money it's going to cost, how much money it's going to make, and what it's
defining genre as well.
Defining genre is really, really important, as we said before. And then hopefully going to the sales agent and getting your sales projections. Yeah. And that's a business plan.
It's no different to any other business in that way. If you need money for making your business grow, whether it's a film business or I make pots and pans or whatever, the key ingredient is trust from your investors. They need to trust you, that you know the market that well, that their investment is relatively safe. Exactly. And that's all you're doing with this kind of thing, is just making sure you know your.
And we all know that it's with film, it's an even bigger lottery, because some films just take off
it can
for
be, absolutely.
no reason.
Yeah. Which is why having something that's already in distribution is, that's the holy grail really for trying to get that investment for something of a larger project.
Absolutely, but I think some people just think that when they've got a great script, or even a star, that's the end of it. But it's not.
It's not at all. No.
You have to do your homework, and you have to prep these things in advance.
Yeah.
So when I guess what we're saying here is, when you're setting up a film, think about it as a business plan, as a business proposition. Don't just think that the script will speak.
But most importantly is to... Oh, that's it.
Was that going to be the most important bit?
Well, it was, but we're out of time, so never mind.
Well. We could have turned people's lives around.
I know, and that's the thing that we were all sort of getting to as well, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, just building up to that crescendo.
Oh well, we just have to keep that information for ourselves.
Yeah, but we'll use it.
Why have billions when we could have millions?
Guess the film, everybody.
What's next then, Phil?
Okay, next is we're going to just talk a little bit about location scouting.
Oh, my favourite.
Yeah. So.
Oh,
is it really your favourite?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, it depends where the location is. Let's go.
Okay, so location scouting. Reason why location scouting is very relevant to us at the moment is we've obviously got a couple of features in early development, one of which is science fiction related, and we need a kind of a futuristic, desolate landscape. So we've been looking at shooting in places like Morocco or Tunisia or the UAE, and I went to a meeting about Ajman in the UAE last week, and it's just when you go, we've talked before about moving equipment and carnets and things like that, but when you're looking at exotic locations, you really have to contact the film office to arrange to go and see these locations. The film offices of these different countries will know exactly all the different types of vegetation, landscapes, urban areas or rural areas. And they can organise trips to take you out there. That, you know, a lot of these, particularly developing countries, will have a film office set up that really wants to help promote that. The best thing you can do is there are lots of different kind of conventions and meetings, usually in London. There's one at Earl's Court every year, and I can't unfortunately remember the title of it off the top of my head, but we'll try and find it and put a link to it on the podcast notes, where you will get all the different film offices from the different countries there, so you can actually go and speak to them, get their cards, talk to them about what you want, and they can set it up for you, and then you can fly over. Sometimes if you're established, you can get development funding as well through Creative England, as long as we've talked about before just now about, you know, your setup as a business, you've got a properly line produced budgeted script, you've already got talent attached, you know where the project's going, you can apply for pockets of development funding. Just go to the Creative England website, and then they can even fund your expedition to Tunisia or wherever to go and look at the locations. So but there are sometimes it might be beneficial to even go to places like Ajman. The reason I wanted to go there was because I knew they'd probably have the types of landscapes that we would need, but at the same time they probably don't have a film office set up yet. But that could mean they're even more eager to put Ajman on the map.
Yeah.
So they'll be even more eager to help, and you can get more sort of free assistance, more committed assistance. But at the same time, it could work the other way, where you might not get any assistance at all. Now, you've done a lot of location scouting both in the UK and abroad. What would you say are your top tips for getting ready for a location scout?
Find out where you're going.
Oh, is that it?
And make sure you got a plane to get there.
Oh, okay.
As you were talking just now, one of the big things that I like to make sure I do when we location scout is not necessarily to come away with an absolute, that is where we're actually shooting. You need to have a look at lots of different places, and then you can always make a decision afterwards. But it's not just necessarily about location scouting. It's also a very good opportunity to start laying the groundwork for relationships with people in foreign lands. So when you come back to the UK, you've got a guy over there that you can get on the phone. You know, you can get him to sort things out for you. You know, before you get out there, you can start looking into where are your nearest equipment houses. You know, if this X, Y, and Z breaks down, how can I get another one there? You know, it's not just about this looks pretty for the screen. That's your job. But my job would be more about how we're going to get kit out there. You know, carnets obviously is something that we've discussed anyway. But
what happens if things break?
Yeah, exactly. It'll be a logistics issue for me more than anything, I suppose. And also, you know, not least, what are the tax breaks involved, if any? You know, that I can get out here. But like you said, you know, talk to the film offices about it, because you'll develop a relationship with someone there. You know, you'll have a first name basis guy out there or girl, and that to me is the biggest tip I can sort of give, really. Okay. One thing that we didn't anticipate is that on one particular location scout that I did was unforeseen wildlife intervention. So, you know, we didn't really think about the wildlife that was at the location, but we chose it as a location. And then when we actually got there to shoot, it was unshootable, and we actually had to move. So, you know, those are the
What was the wildlife?
Seagulls. We had the seagull issue on an octocopter job. They weren't there. But you know, when we got there and we started flying the octocopter, we couldn't fly because 1,000 seagulls came out of nowhere, and literally we had to bin that location, and it was embarrassing for us. But you know, really, what we should have done is done a bit more research into exactly what it is that we're doing and what are the potential obstacles, and that was one of them. Yeah. So we learned the hard way on that.
Okay, and recently you did a shoot around here, actually, didn't you? Yeah,
that was for Freeview. There'll be 3 20-second adverts that you'll see on your TV screens in October, and the backdrop was filmed by us. But yeah, the company came to me and said, look, we need this location. They sent me a load of photos, first of all, and said, this is the kind of idyllic location that we're looking for. But we don't really know where it is. They were just arbitrary stills that they got from the internet and thought, that looks nice. Rolling green hillsides. They had a potential location somewhere in Surrey, but they did put it out to me and they said, but if there's anywhere near you, then let us know. So we went out actually for a day and location scouted in our area, and it was getting late in the day, and we'd done 4 locations and filmed them, as a sort of exercise. And there was this one final location that we thought, it's not really what they wanted, but we'll film it anyway just to see if they like it. And actually, that was then ended up being our hero location. But yeah, it's just a case of. But again, it wasn't just about where we are. It was about how we're going to get our equipment to this place, because it was off the beaten track. We had, there wasn't a road there, so we had to get a proper production village set up, power to that production village, food, toilets. All of these things we had to sort of take into account when we're scouting these locations. So yeah, it's not just about. Obviously, the hero is, this is the shot that I want, but that's great. But you actually get people there to do it.
Yeah, and I think particularly sort of students or new filmmakers need to learn that, don't they? Because they will drive to these locations and think it's perfect, and then don't realise these problems later on. But
and all your budget is gone in fuel to get everybody there or something.
Or in a generator or whatever, and you just don't. Sometimes I think sort of people just come in and don't realise that. But also in the last episode we talked a lot about networking and. Again, this last week, because I've been going to so many sort of seminars and stuff, I've been doing a lot of networking. And again, you have to have a card on you because you never know who you can meet.
Absolutely.
One of the main script that I'm working on at the moment is aimed to shoot in the Isle of Man, and sure enough, just talking to someone who's not even related to the film industry or anything, but she's from the Isle of Man. She grew up there. Her whole family's there. And very helpfully now she can help me set up a recce there where I can get shown around all the different places. I mean, it's obviously not that big, so you can do that in a day. But she can show me all the different places and things, and I can do. We can do that recce when we need to. So everybody always have a card on you.
Yeah, you just exactly like you said. You just never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah,
I've had some jobs come out of very weird situations before now. Just random meetings that 6 months later blossom into something I never expected.
But also remember these crew nights. There are some. There was one last week.
Creative England run these actually in lots of different locations around the country.
I think there was one down at Elstree somewhere or something. Yeah.
And they're good actually.
They're really good.
They're really good. And they're qualified people to be there as well normally. So it's definitely an idea to show up and grab a beer and just have a chat to everybody.
Check out the Creative England website because I think there's.
We'll put a link to their.
Yeah, there's another one in another two or 3 weeks.
Right.
I think.
Whereabouts?
So, I can't remember.
Because they're all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean, there've been a few in Bristol, and I know there's been a few in Birmingham.
Yeah.
But they do tend to have them on a regular basis. But we'll put a link on our website for that anyway.
Okay. Wow, we're actually finished early. Unless there's anything more you want to say.
Well, I don't know. It's location scouting. I mean, there's probably 1,000,001 things. One thing actually that I do recommend is wherever you plant yourself and decide that's your location, get some sort of GPS coordinate for it, because then you can look at it back on Google Earth, take as many photos as you can, but definitely geotag it, because you're going to want to know exactly where it is later. Because that way, when you're back in the production office, you can find out what time the sun's going to come up, what time the sun's going to go down. You can look at local weather, etc.
That's it. Okay. Wow, we actually timed that one pretty well.
That was all right. That was okay, yeah.
Do you think we'll overrun on the next one?
What is the next one?
The next one. Well,
yeah.
we can either talk about movies we're excited. We're just going to have a fun one now.
I think we should do both.
Or we can talk about what our favourite summer film was now that summer season is officially over.
Well, let's just do both.
By the way, I saw Riddick this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The new one?
Yeah.
And?
It's good.
I'm so glad. I wanted it to be good.
Yeah.
Is it more like Pitch Black than Chronicles?
It's basically Pitch Black 2.
Oh, good.
And it's thoroughly enjoyable. Yeah. I mean, it's just an enjoyable film. It's total B-movie hokum.
Yeah.
And one or two of the effects are a bit ropey, although overall I was quite impressed with the effects on its budget that it had. But again, Vin Diesel is just so watchable as that character.
Yeah. He is the epitome of Riddick, though, isn't he?
No, really, really good.
Yeah.
And you know, the first third of the movie, it's almost like it's just Riddick on this planet on his own and doesn't say anything.
Really?
And it's just it's brilliant. It's so captivating in a way. It's the best section of the movie, although the rest is still really good. And you'd like it because it's got what's her name, Katie Sackhoff in it. So,
I like it. Yeah. Starbuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Very good.
Yeah.
I shall watch it.
Okay.
Anyway.
What are we talking about then? Which one?
Favourite summer movie.
Favourite summer movie.
Yeah.
Okay then.
And maybe, we'll just quickly mention afterwards
honourable.
Our
ones we're anticipating.
Yeah.
Okay, so one movie we're anticipating.
Yes.
And
favourite summer movie.
Okay,
ready?
Go. Okay then. Do you want to start then?
I can start if you like. I think my favourite summer movie is really down to a sense of loyalty.
Oh, you're not, are you?
I have to.
Oh, but you've got to be honest about what the film is.
But I am honest, actually. It's a toss-up between that and Iron Man 3, in fairness.
You mean the two Blu-rays that are sitting in your kitchen?
Yes, exactly. But for me, it's got to be Star Trek Into Darkness.
Okay.
Because it was a very good film.
It was.
There was only one part of that film that really, really narked me.
God!
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Spock shouts Khan, and it was just completely unnecessary.
Too much fan service.
Far too much. But apart from that, I thought it was a really good movie.
It was really well made. I think, again, it shows off Abrams' directorial skills.
Yeah.
Cumberbatch, you can't fault Cumberbatch.
No,
He's
absolutely,
brilliant. The only issue, apart from the fact that it did try too hard, because the thing is with the fan services, all the Star Trek fans out there weren't that happy with the fan service stuff that was in there. It felt hemmed in, and the younger fans aren't going to know anything.
They don't know any different. No, absolutely.
It seems kind of pointless.
Sorry,
Ben's coughing his guts out.
I know. Got to give up this 60 a day habit.
Yeah, you need to give up the shisha. The problem I have with it is I want it to be boldly go where no man has gone before now, and it just still felt like it resorted to type too much for me, which is it didn't feel Star Trek enough in that it's just there's a villain that needs to be defeated and so on and so forth, when I want it to be exploration now.
I liked, as a fan of Star Trek, I actually liked being at Starfleet for a lot of it. I kind of liked that whole Starfleet thing. It kind of went against Starfleet's principles, because basically the one of the head guys at Starfleet, even though I love Peter Weller and he was brilliant in it, is a warmonger, which is just going completely against what Starfleet is. Maybe, but he's not the first one in Starfleet to be like that. Think of Star Trek Insurrection. Who was in Insurrection? I can't remember the name of the Admiral dude, but he was the one that wanted to forcibly remove people from their own planet. I can't remember. So, I mean, it's not unheard of for them to be like that. I don't know. And besides, Paul Weller plays a baddie so well anyway. Yeah, he does. He's awesome. He's insidious about it. Yeah. Take no prisoners. Anyway, I've had nearly 3 minutes on Star Trek, so I think you better come up with your favourite. Okay. Of all the movies that I've seen this summer in the cinema, and we're just talking about summer movies that released this year, my actual favourite is World War Z. I haven't seen it yet. I hear good things. I just loved it, and I didn't expect to at all. I mean, obviously, I've been following it quite closely. All the production problems, thought it was going to be an utter mess. And even though it is like that third act, you can see where they've taken they've made the incision and put a whole new third act on there. I have to say, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well directed by Mark Forster. I thought that the third act was absolutely appropriate. I thought Lindelof and whoever else helped him write that third act. I think maybe Chris McQuarrie was involved as well. It was just, I thought it was great because they'd already done so many big sequences, epic sequences. To do another one in the third act, it would have been a bit like Man of Steel. Yeah. Like the end during the action, just a bit yawn. Forced. Yeah. But they went quiet and they went creepy zombie
going around a facility.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it was great, and I thought it was good, and you know, Brad Pitt was fine in it. He's I think he's a really good actor. I mean, but this didn't really require that much of him. But I think that it came out so well and so enjoyable. I mean, there's a great sequence, I think it's in Korea, which is just really, really dark, really, really creepy, and just the total surprise for me. But
was it filmed on location?
Yeah, I mean, the irony is the final act. Some of it was filmed on location, some of it wasn't at all. I mean, the final act is set actually just outside Cardiff.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not, yeah.
How weird.
Having Brad Pitt, considering I went to university in Cardiff, having Brad Pitt demand that the plane land in Cardiff was hilarious for me. And then it's the whole final sequence is set in Wales, but I think they actually shot it in Scotland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I know they shot in Scotland. I don't remember them.
Well, Scotland looks more Welsh than Wales does, doesn't it?
I've just been to Carmarthenshire this weekend, so it looked like the end of World War.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool. I do like it when you get some of these Hollywood directors that like shooting around the world.
They don't they? It isn't in Iron Man 3. There's a mention of Croydon at one point, isn't there?
Is that Croydon?
Yeah, I
there?
think so, because I've not seen the film yet, but I'm sure there's a scene where
that
Guy
rings
Pearce
a
said,
bell.
"Oh, it's in Croydon, wherever that is."
Yeah.
But of course, the screenwriter who wrote it with Shane Black is British.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
right. Okay.
he's put that in.
I wonder where they're from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, we're down to just over 4 minutes. So, most anticipated movie.
My most anticipated movie.
Next 6 months, so you can't say Jurassic World, because I know that's what you would say.
Oh, yeah, that would have been one. Do you know, my mind has actually gone a blank. What are the... I did have one before we started this, and I can't remember... Yeah. Oh, you go first.
Is there something coming out in the next few months that you really want to see?
Oh, Jesus, what was I
There's
thinking
a trailer
of?
for a movie after this that I'll show you that you want to see called Last Days on Mars.
I want to see Gravity.
Oh, God, of course, Gravity.
That's one film that I'm deeply anticipating.
Alfonso Cuarón.
And I hear good... I've actually heard a mixed bag, more good than bad, but I have heard some critic of Gravity, yeah.
Yeah, but mostly positive. I mean, certainly, Cameron has said it's the best space movie ever made.
Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, that's high praise.
But I think he's mates with Cuarón. I think these guys all help each other out. But but the thing is, Cuarón's like Cameron is always pushing the technology.
Right.
I think it just is going to be an immense experience. I don't think you're going there really for character development, because I think the whole film is real time.
Yeah.
Over like 90 minutes. It's just, a disaster.
It just, I mean, it's Sandra Bullock for a start. I don't care if she's got a spacesuit on or not. It's still Sandra Bullock. I watched Miss Congeniality the other night. I forgot just how much I love that film. It's an awesome film, and that's the end of it. Michael Caine is perfect in that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I digress. We've
talked about Miss Congeniality before
on
this
we?
podcast. Yeah. It would have been Gravity, probably, but as you've gone for that, I'm probably going to go with The Counselor. Do you know that one?
No.
Okay. Ridley Scott's new film.
Oh, right, okay.
And how about this for cast list? Michael Fassbender, Penelope Cruz, Cameron Diaz, Javier Bardem, Brad Pitt.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's a reunion.
And it's written by Cormac McCarthy.
Right.
Who wrote No Country for a Man.
Good grief.
And the novel anyway.
Yeah.
And although he did write a screenplay first, but that's another long story, as we only got 2 minutes. It basically looks like Breaking Bad the movie, and it just looks amazing. And of course it's Ridley Scott, and the trailers look amazing, and it looks dark, and it's got this amazing cast in it. So it'd be that. Other movies I'm also can't wait to see. Prisoners. Do you know that one? It's Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
Thriller that's coming out in a couple of weeks in the UK. That just because all the reviews that have come out of TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, have just been incredible. And I'm so excited for that. Everyone's saying that the script is phenomenal, the direction is phenomenal.
Well, that's always good to have some sort of critical
and it's going to be an Oscar contender. The other big Oscar contender, they reckon, is going to be 12 Years a Slave.
Right.
I'm a big fan of Steve McQueen, who directed that. He did Hunger and Shame, 2 films that I love. In fact, I was considering doing a scene for Hunger when we were doing our Dissecting a Scene in the last episode.
Yeah.
And that one is going to be on. And the other one is Captain Phillips. Paul Greengrass and Tom Hanks.
Oh, very good.
The real life story of is it the Maersk that it was taken over by Somali pirates.
I couldn't tell you.
So that one, it just
yeah,
because,
I think you're right. Actually, I think it was.
I just think because Paul Greengrass, I think no one does shaky cam better than him. I mean, that is his shtick, so to speak. But I just think when he's given the right material, like that one,
sometimes he can go overboard with it, though.
Yeah, he can definitely. But I think that he's
like.
Sorry, is that a pun?
Oh yeah, no, it's not a pun. But I was just thinking he can go overboard with the shake. Sometimes it actually kind of makes you feel like you can't keep up. But in the same way, J.J. Abrams can go overboard with the torches in the lens.
JJ definitely goes on the overboard.
Every director has a flaw. What's yours?
I don't know. I don't have any flaws.
Modesty.
My flaw is I can't make good movies. But yeah, if one's got the shakes and one's got eyesight problems, I don't know what mine is.
I know.
Yeah.
See, very good. Just a dramatic pause just before the end.
Ah, well, that was
excellent.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Okay, anything you want to add to that?
Not really. No. I think that's it. We'll try and keep this one short-ish again.
I wonder how short they are.
Well, it's going to be around. I don't know. I mean, that's
an
indicative thing because obviously there's some fluff at the beginning that we will cut out. But
what are we on?
41 minutes at the moment. But
that's pretty good.
I think it's more like 38 maybe.
Okay. So what we've got coming up is we've got another big art design meeting all weekend.
We have.
This weekend. So we're hoping to maybe speak to some of our
we're going to try and do
on the podcast.
Take the podcast studio with us to our meeting in Cornwall.
Yeah.
And get the creative team involved in that podcast and just get some of their views and thoughts on what it is that they're doing.
That's it. And after that, hopefully, finally, we're going to have some special guests.
Yes.
On the podcast. Because people must be bored of us by now.
Yes, I'm sure.
Seeing as we haven't had a guest on since Paul.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Can
we say who that guest is? Do you think, or is it too early?
We'll wait. We'll announce
we?
the next time. We could just make sure we got a date.
Yeah.
In the diary.
Okay. Let's. Yeah. Because he is a very busy man.
Yeah. Okay.
Or woman.
Or woman. Is that actually for the listeners, or is that you're not sure?
He is a very busy woman.
And he doesn't listen to our podcast, so we can say whatever we want.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to listen to this.
He's great. I love him.
Okay, well, that's nice. Okay then, so how can people find us, Ben?
They can go to our website, which is www.fictionfoundry.co.uk, or they can tweet us.
Yeah, and that's at Fiction Foundry. And you can also email us. I'm Phil at fictionfoundry.co.uk.
And I'm Ben at fictionfoundry.co.uk. And if you don't want to speak to either of us, it's howdy at fictionfoundry.co.uk. And you can also find us on Facebook as well. We are facebook.com/The Fiction Foundry.
Yeah, please like our Facebook page. It'll make us feel loved. And also, if you have the time, it would be lovely for you to go onto iTunes and leave us a flattering review. That would help us immensely.
We have 6 reviews, and one of them might be from me.
Is that because you actually put your name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't very...
no, I didn't really think that one through, did I?
I have not reviewed it.
The thing is,
the other 5 are genuine.
I slammed us as well, that's the thing.
Okay then, everyone.
But there is one more thing before I go.
Yeah.
I feel obliged to do this. It's the 16th of September today, and that is my wedding anniversary. So I just want to say happy wedding anniversary to my wife Emma.
You're married?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll not tell you about this.
Yes. Hello, Emma. Congratulations. I don't know how you've put up with him this long.
Not do I.
Okay.
Excellent. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening to us.
Goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Bye.